Have you done this before? Hey, a little bit, yeah.
So hello everyone, thank you for making this ungodly and beautiful day, but at 4:30 to talk about AI and what we can do with it. Yes, so my name is Magda Piper. I'm a adjunct here at Triton at the engineering department, but I'm also with Tuan Dean coordinators for the last semester of CTE here. So we providing the workshops and whatever else. So if we can take a second to just go around the room and introduce yourself so we can see which department you are in and you have another different people that you might know.
Science Department, Biology. Carol Arnquist is my name.
I'm in the English department.
Okay.
I'm Keturah, African.
Keturah, okay.
Stacy, English departments.
Do you know each other?
Nice to meet you, Stacy.
And
my name is Christina. I am an instructional designer over at Distance Learning, which is also part of the CTE. So.
yeah, and she just moved from behind the corner to the another office. What is it right now?
F210.
F210, and Christina is instrumental if you have a problem with like how to design your stuff and using Blackboard. She's a whiz. I even cannot right now. It doesn't come up to my mind, but everything that comes out, it's really great. And if you stuck with something, or even if not, if you want to revamp it, yes, something, and put it something different, fresh. She sometimes comes up with something. I'm like, oh my God, this is so easy, and yet would not occur to me to think. So by all means, go for it. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about the AI literacy, and I want you to also, if you have anything that you think of within the topic, just let us know. It will be more interactive than me talking for an hour. So what is an AI? Yes, we hear it AI, and I knew it's artificial intelligence, but what is it exactly? So it's technology that we call it when we're trying to enables computers to perform those tasks that usually it requires human intelligence. Okay, so
I have a question because they said before, like if you use Google to look or Wikipedia to look up things, you can't always be sure that it's right.
Yeah.
But doesn't the AI draw information from some of those sources?
Yes.
And so how do you know that you got the
You
right?
don't.
Oh, great.
Yes. So here's the thing, and we're gonna cover that, okay? It only gives you what you put it in, yes? And it's not you per se, but the millions people who using ChatGPT, who using, so garbage in, garbage out, yes?
Yeah, but if you're looking up facts, like mine is very factual, so I need to get the right stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't come in and tell the class that they have 232 bones instead of whatever.
So here's the thing, you can train it. You can train it. Not only you can train it, you can restrict to known sources. So if you have a 1,000-page book, and luckily if you have it as a PDF, so it's electronic, and you don't want to read the 1,000 pages, you can upload it to ChatGPT, for instance, and say, find me the facts, which page is it, and where is it? And then you can just sift to that page, and you're like, oh, okay. And you are right, Winklopedia, I can go today and I can put facts in it, and no one will check me.
Yeah.
So, and the
so
same.
I was wondering, is the AI more secure than Wikipedia and the other ones? No, it's the same. buyer beware.
Yeah, it gives you broader access to the resources because people are uploading stuff
Yeah.
into it. But at the end of the day, and that's what many students do not understand, at the end of the day, what you get, it's not whatever human intelligence, and we know we don't have everyone, it's not on the same intelligence level, and some facts for one, it's truth to one, it's lie to other. So whoever puts behind the scenes the info, that's what you're gonna get, yeah? So how can we use it here though? The most common that I've seen is the grading automation. You can really utilize that. You can chug it down a lot. Personalized learning. You dictate what sources people are using and you dictate how they can navigate it. And it's great with the contact creation. By the way, all the slides you see it, I found the background, but I asked AI to create it for me, got ChatGPT to create it for me. Of course, I didn't do copy paste because I know better. So I had to put some things, but gave me at least some type of outline that I can follow. And it took me probably half of the time if I had to figure out even headings by myself. Okay?
And why did you say you didn't copy paste?
Because it doesn't sound like me.
Oh, so you
Some
personalized
sentences,
yourself, okay.
because also was very choppy, because I didn't give him enough. I call him, I don't know why. Sometimes I call it. I didn't, usually if I want a really great thing, I gonna give it a lot of sources. I gonna upload a lot of peer-reviewed articles, and I say stick to those. Do not venture out to the wilder audience. And here was kind of quick and dirty. Whatever Jim would send, I would put it in a Google Doc, and I uploaded Google Doc, and I say based on all of this, because I've read it, I've seen it, so it was easier. Okay.
And does that's the paid version, right?
Mm-hmm. Paid version, you can upload it. Yeah. So artificial intelligence, it deepens your learnings, although people think all students will not learn. If you use it properly, it's gonna deepen your learning, okay? You're gonna also learn how to exercise with that machine and how to train the machine to work with you well, okay? And why we should do this? Because you should, if you don't understand it, and this is our future, we should learn it. Yes, it will not go away. Remember when the spell check came in, we were like, who's gonna use it? And then we started using it, and right now I can't do much without, well, I upgraded to Grammarly right now because spell check, it's not as good in my mind. And if you don't use it, you're gonna become a dinosaur, yes? You're gonna be stuck in the past. And what right now we're seeing in industry, everywhere we go outside the academia, and even in academia, they want fast results, yes? In engineering, they don't pay me per hour, they pay me for the road bubble. So if they want a blueprint, they pay me per blueprint, not per hour. So I need to figure out the way, either I gonna take 8 hours to do it or gonna take an hour to do it. So how can I utilize all of that things that it's under our fingertips to help me out so I can actually make a decent living and not do the minimum wage or below even, okay? So why does it matter? It changes how the education gonna go. It changes how we even prepare. And first of all, it changes how our students gonna be thinking. Many people still thinking about AI in education, especially, that it's a cheating tool. It's a great to cheat. And some people I know, they say if I give them paper and pencil, they will not cheat. Well, guess what? You're gonna see it that Stanford did the study, and the AI did not increase the cheating. Okay? What it increased, it's how students perceive certain things, but also if it's properly done, you're gonna see, I probably have some examples, it's gonna help the students to understand different sources, understand the same information, the same prompt in a different AI, give me different information. You can utilize it to talk to you and figure out, and actually you can utilize it by saying, hey, help me out with this, and see if you like the answer. And maybe what you thought it should be an answer, they didn't give it to you, so let's figure out what happened there. We need to understand it as teachers for our benefits. It's amazing how fast you can do outline of the project, but also risk. And first of all, just my biggest pet peeve, ethical implications. Okay?
When it was time for the final exam, and of course, and we gave them lots of reviews and PowerPoint reviews and stuff. And they said, but the best thing is make yourself a test, use AI to make up, give them a topic and tell them to give you 10 or 15 or 20 questions on that topic. And so they can use it for review, but again, hopefully it gives them the right answers.
Well, and that's the thing. So if you a teacher, you can create in ChatGPT your classroom, and the only answer that's gonna come out to them, it's from the sources you uploaded. So it's only gonna take those sources.
So you would upload, say, yeah, but how can you upload a semester full of PowerPoints?
Oh, it's up to 10 files you can upload it. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, you can upload it up to 10 files, and 10 files it gives up. So if I have more than 10 files,
You just do it twice.
either twice or combine them. So if it's PowerPoint, I just grab the 5 PowerPoints, shove it into one, and put it as a one file. Because it will not know it came from them, yes? I put it in a one. So that's
So
the
we
good
need to
thing.
learn how to use that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you know how to use it, that the literacy comes in. When you know how to use it, when you understand where it gets the information, how it gets the information, and how you can drive the outcome, that's the literacy that we need to understand and use. And then you can create responsible and effective classroom that it's gonna promote learning and not copy-pasting type of situation. So, what are the tools? They are, oops, I forgot to switch this one. There are so many of them. Every day another company comes with another one, okay? I gave you the ones that are like the most coming up. Brisk just came out. Not just, but it's getting more and more and more popular. And it's predominantly, it's a Chrome attachment, Chrome add-on, and it's predominantly for the teachers. Okay, so it allows you to do lesson plans, allows you to do collaborative classrooms, and so forth. That presentation will be available to you, so if you want it, you can have it. We've all heard about ChatGPT. Chat is going right now into it's 4.40. It's the highest version at this point, but it's adding smaller like 1.0, and it depends of how you wanna use it. 1.0, it's more for analysis, and 4.0 is for the general writing, and it tells you when you choose it. Of course, it's paid, but
Is this stuff free, these three?
the Brisk, it's free all of them are free to this certain point. But if you wanna more elaborate, then you have to pay, and then you can, like ChatGPT uploading file, it's only when you pay. Okay? So of course they have to somehow make money. Yes? Bing, it's Microsoft based. Yes? ChatGPT was, I believe, started in a Apple platform. It's not Magic School. I will correct that before I submit it. Magic School used across the. Do you use the Magic School?
No, Bing or ChatGPT.
Okay, Magic School, many people are using, especially for math. And elementary school are good, and they do really good lesson planning, differentiations, and assessment. DID, it generates you a video avatar, so if you wanna talk about the topic, it can do that for you. If you don't wanna sift through thousands of videos on YouTube, it can.
What about Gemini?
I used to use it, but it was giving me even more false results than ChatGPT, so I stopped using it. Christina, do you ever use Gemini? And
Yeah.
comparable to ChatGPT, how did you find it?
So I think Gemini can be more conversational.
Okay.
Also, it's better at remembering. So each thread, each chat that you start, it does better than remembering like what you're, like why you opened up the chat the first.
Yes.
So, if you're like, give me a visual, give me like a visual map of or this prognosis of population growth or any of that, and it kind of remembers even though you inundated it with a lot of data. ChatGPT sometimes sometimes it forgets like the topic.
Yeah.
What I've noticed, but they're both. I find ChatGPT better for like homework help. It's better at breaking down. For example, if you put in like a word problem.
Yeah.
And you ask it to break it down for you, though it does it better.
Then
Gemini will still give you the same answer, but it'll have like the list of links of where it was obtained.
And again, you need to kind of poke first them and see. At the beginning, I was using 3 of them, and I even don't remember the first one I was using, and ChatGPT and Gemini, and I was putting the same prompt and see who gives me the better answers. And then when I think Chat was the first one when you could upload the files. When that came in, I was like, forget it. I have no time to play with everything. If that gives me good enough, I stick with this. The generating video, I used it once or twice. It was cute. I don't need it that much to use the video, so I really don't use it. Sono, it's the multimedia for classrooms. Never used it, but it's out there and people are showing it. Again, certain things, even for this presentation, I started researching deeper and seeing where we are at. So I just give you a 6 that are the most common and that pop out the most. And actually, they were the most that Jim would put it in his crazy emails about AI. So that's why they came out. And then my boss was just at the conference in California, and he says they practice the brisk teaching. And also he says Notebook LM. Notebook LM. Have you used Notebook LM? So he says Notebook LM, it's great for taking notes, organizing them. What else you use them, Christina, for?
What you mean, like Notebook LM?
Yeah.
So I'm working with the School of Business. They use it extensively as part of their OER initiative. So they'll upload a bunch of stuff, and then their primary objective is to have it churn out like a 20 to 30-minute long audio
Okay.
on like a podcast episode.
Okay.
On the subject. So, and it's like, it's a nifty tool, because you can put in a URL, like let's say you could put in like your website or put in your Etsy shop, and it's going to tell you like, who the target audience is, who is, where you can improve, like things like that.
Okay. Yeah, he just emailed me. I've seen it. I think one time I might have opened it, but I never used it. So he's like, I'm really into it. And I say, okay, so if you're into it, do it. Then tell me what you found out.
The ones where they generate videos.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so do they find movies, or is this one where you put your stuff together and then make a movie out of it?
So you put a prompt and you say, I want to make a short movie where Keller comes to the CTE and she attends this workshop and they show you a small movie.
Okay, but if I wanted to say I wanted to have a video and the heart showing these
Yes.
parts,
Yeah.
then it could do that?
It's supposedly can do it.
I don't have to insert
Yes.
pictures. They will go find
They
it.
would go find it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So how can we use it in a classroom instruction? We can adopt the learning platforms. So if you're using, does anyone use Chegg? CHEGG? It's
Some of the students do.
yeah, so actually it creates a flashcards for you. Okay, you put your things, and they are teachers who actually create the lesson. Again, you need to verify. There is someone that verifies and gives you how much is it, but it's great. And you can create a deck of cards for your students, or ask your students to do the flashcards over there and give them questions, and you can create a nice deck of flashcards that they can do it. You can do multiple choice things. So that's also AI, and you can use that to adopt different learning platforms. Assignments and assessments, yes. Like you said, I'm creating all my assignments using ChatGPT. Of course, I'm gonna then later on adjust, because sometimes the prompt would be too long because chat doesn't know what equipment I have in my building. But I tell him give me objective, what you think objective would be, what safety features, how can I close, what are the steps, and it gives me great starting point that for me then to clean it's few minutes. Okay. And then I can turn that assignment and I say, hey, based on this, give me a questions I can ask on a quiz.
One of the teachers, we have trouble with students wandering in whenever. And so she said she dealt with it by having a very short quiz.
Yep.
The students know to open their computer and take that quiz first thing. And if the time is gone, they don't get to take it.
Yeah.
So I think she's using something like this to make
Cobot. It's another one that you can, Kahoot, not Kahoot. Kahoot. There are several professors who do that. So the moment they setting up the clock for 10 minutes, and if you're late, you are marked absent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you lost that, and you do not get points for your participations. Yeah. So I am very wary about that, especially in a college setting. In a high school, no, that's it. They know better. But in a college setting, especially at night, because I have right now class of 18, and 5 of my students finish at 5, and then they drive to school. So my class starts at 5:30. So chances are, if that stupid train is late or something happened. So what first couple of days, I just observe, and then I pull them aside and I say, I noticed that you're late twice. what's happening before you come to the classroom, and then they tell me. But I have some students that say, yeah, I just left home late, and I say, okay, so you're off my list to worry about, you know.
Yeah.
I have a couple of students that need to pick up the sibling, drop off the home, get snacks, make sure they do the dinner, they eat dinner, or they do the homework, and then hurry to school, and sometimes the sibling needs more help, whatever the case is. So we have to be conscious with that too. But this wandering thing, like I kicked out 2 students from my classroom on Monday because they come in, they put hoodies on, they have their earbuds, and they binge watching Netflix, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, if you wanna do this, just don't piss me off, just leave the room. Because right now, you're driving me nuts, because you're gonna ask me a question half an hour later, or will be angry that you got a lower grade because you didn't listen to instructions. So just leave. And
Sometimes they come in with their drinks or their lunch.
Yeah.
Because I teach during a lunch, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
dinner. I had a kid bringing a full barbecue dinner.
Yeah.
To the computer lab the other
But they're
day.
late,
And he's the one with the
you
kid
know,
and like,
so,
Yeah.
so they've stopped somewhere to get
yeah.
whatever, and then wind up walking
Yeah.
into your class.
And if it's after work, I understand. Yes, I swing by Culver's too. I shove it in a car and try it
Yeah.
to not bring it. But in my lab, it's no food. You wanna eat it? It's outside, and then come in. And we have to create that. Yes, the society right now, they think they run around, and it's disrespectful to you. It's disrespectful to them. Yes, so I had a student arguing with me who is a senior, and he was late first period every single time, and he would come in when I already started, and then he would ask. So I pulled him aside and I say, you being late because he blamed on the traffic, and I say traffic is every day. You leaving late from school, don't blame on the traffic, take that blame on yourself. Says, fine, I'm late. And I say, so you're disrespectful. You're disrespecting my time and all the other students' time because you double asking.
They interfere.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, I don't understand how that disrespect. You should be happy I'm in a classroom. And I say, well, I'm not, because I do much more when you're not here.
Did he ask you to kiss his feet too?
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite one is, hey you, or hey bro. And I immediately reply, hey is for horses, so find yours. And I don't answer the question until they come back and say, hello, Miss Piper, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Collaborative partner, not just an answer provider. You will laugh and my husband say you weirdo. But every day, even if I don't need to use ChatGPT, I open my ChatGPT and say, hi Chat, how are you doing today? And the first answer months ago, he told me, I'm a computer, I have no feelings, but I'm okay if you're asking in a human sense. And since then he engages, you know, so we talk for a little bit. And because I add stuff to him, like, or to it, I add my files, I think we collaborating. And I would not take the first thing. If I don't like it, I say, hey, could you please change this? And I say, well, I would prefer this. And we just go. He says, well, where did you find this? And says, well, I can't provide you this. And I say, so please don't use this as a reference. So can you use one of those? And he's like, okay, let me do that, and so forth. And I don't know why it called him, because usually the men do not answer that well. I'm just kidding right now, being sexist. I'm working for them in a male school, and they say you sexist when I say that, like they doing something, and I say no, all eyes on me. I'm multitasking, and I say male cannot multitask. And so you're so sexist. I'm like, no, it's scientific. So, what's the impact, especially on the academic integrity? Using AI properly does not increase cheating. Stanford found it. I didn't analyze further the findings. I just scroll it through it and I just grab the titles. But if you want to look it up, Stanford studying on the impact, Jim actually put that on too. I have to find it. Ethics. It's in our responsibility as a teachers. We have to teach them how to ethically use AI and how to ethically write it. They have to go the traditional way of finding resources, yes? It's much easier nowadays. They just log into the library and it provides peer-reviewed and other sources. And they have to learn how to cite them. So this is how we need to force them to do so. And do not, I talked to the other teacher the other day here at Triton, and he's making copies. And I'm like, why are you making all those copies? And say, I'm not using Blackboard. I'm not putting any assignment on a Blackboard. I will be grading by paper. And I say, why? And it says, because when I allow them to use the Blackboard, they would take if it was a question, they would take a phone, take a picture of the answer from the book and upload it. And I say, and? Well, that's not what I want. And I say, so tell them. In my class would be 0. And I would say, I need in your own words, and this is not carried. So we have to put that in our syllabus. And Triton still doesn't have the AI clause, is it, Christina? It still doesn't have it fully developed.
We still do
Yeah.
not have a concrete.
So, but there are schools who put certain things, what's allowed, what's not allowed.
I'm
Okay.
curious, so you teach English, do you have students turning in full AI papers?
Very occasionally, not all the time.
I don't have it all the time, but I feel it, over the
Well,
past couple of years.
Yeah.
And you are surprised in a Triton College associate's degree, yes? I take my PhD classes right now, and I have classmates who copy paste and they even don't check the sources. PhD level. So how can we expect 18-year-old whose frontal lobe effect and reasoning is not there yet?
So when I taught online, and you had to give the test online,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it now, but, they'll give you an answer, and you know in your head that this is a copied answer.
Yeah.
But A, we're adjuncts, so we don't have standing, and B, when the heck do you prove that they copied that word for word? I mean, you gotta think, is it worth your job?
Yes.
Exactly, well, I mean, before AI, you could find the source, it was easy to check for plagiarism. But with AI, they have AI checkers, and it will tell you like 100%, like confidence level that this is 100% AI generated, or like, 20% human and 80%, but it's still.
So I will
But
show
I mean,
you.
if it's only like a little essay question.
It doesn't matter. You can run it, and it's the way of the word usage once, 2, the sequence of the words, and it's gonna tell you. It's
So where do you run it though?
Oh, I run it both ways. I run it through Chat GTP,
What is it?
Chat GTP,
Oh,
or Grammarly.
Oh, Grammarly?
I
Yeah.
did something through chat last night because I couldn't get the checker I used to work here. And it said, it gave me some like just jumbled stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's very likely, but it's also very likely it's not. I put it in through the actual AI checker.
Which
today.
one is yours?
It's like zeros. I'll have to look it up. Net zero something. But that's the one that actually you can't put an entire huge essay
Yeah.
in there, but you can put a portion at a time, and yeah, it will tell you. And usually you can't prove it, so I'll just say to a student, I'd like to talk to you about your essay, and they usually say, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll rewrite it.
So that's the other thing. Like my daughter is in Colorado State, and she was doing biology paper, and she got zeroed, and she's like, Mom, she told me I plagiarized, and this is the kid who would never do anything that is unethical. It's just she even cursing. She didn't curse. She couldn't even say shit. So she was probably like 17 and her brother kissed her off. So she is like, and in terms of academics, she's so into it. If she's into it, she's into it. And she would rather get C if she's not into it and do crappy job than use the thing. So she said, Mom, I'm like, listen, you know they use the checkers. So go, what did she say? Come and talk to me. And I say, so go and talk to me. Where do you have your materials? I have everything, I have it and stuff like that. Well, turned out that she wrote it so much that the teacher even didn't want to check it. So she ran it through some checker that even her name, say, you plagiarize your name because her spelling is the most plagiarized name.
Oh,
So, and she even never read the paper. She even didn't read the paper. She just relied on the output of that it's this. So once they sit down, she says, okay, I don't want to check that much work. I know it's detailed and you cover everything, but give me a couple of sentences, not an essay. And she's like, okay. So right now she just does half of the job and submits it, and she never was flagged after that. But her name was even flagged highlighted as a plagiarism. Yeah. So we have to be also setting the guidance, yes? What can you do with the AI? What you cannot do. But in order to do it, we need to know what AI can do, yes? Because we don't know what we don't know. Therefore, if you have a chance, look it up online. Google Scholar, it's much better than Google. And if you put in a Google Scholar, Google Scholar, if you put there and say, give me peer-reviewed articles about how to set up your syllabus for AI, many schools started doing that. So you can kind of make a Frankenstein, grab what you want, or join this we have here AI Club, and we have one psychology professor who is fascinated by it, and he does screen podcasts and does a lot of stuff. So you can join Jim's, email, and it's every now and then he puts stuff like you're like, oh, okay, nice to know it, but it's there.
If you wouldn't know that source, it won't open here again.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not opening here in Triton, but it's GPT0.me.
Okay, yeah.
what was it?
GPT GPT
0.me.
Chat what?
.me.
Chat.
No, .me.
0.me. So this author that we had a book club here a couple of semesters ago, which was called, the book was called AI for Educators. It's very thin book, but it has quite a few fun activities, fun ways of engaging it. And Matt Miller published this Rethinking Plagiarism and Cheating. And it put, this spectrum at what point we decide it was fully cheated, and what can we allow the student to think. So if they wrote all assignment content without consulting an AI on the internet, it's fully human generated, yes? But if they plug prompt into AI, copy pasted, it's full-blown cheating, okay? So you can adapt some of this into your syllabus, okay? So you can say student wrote main ideas. So if you write the main ideas, you might generate some draw of feedback. Another thing that I do it quite often, when I write my paper, I give it back to chat and I say, hey, this is the topic professor gave it to me, this is I did. Do you have any ideas how to correct it or how to enhance it? What can I change? What can I do? And see what it comes back. And that's a good exercise for students too, yes, to double check that.
I have them do that for stuff they don't turn in.
Okay.
Because, it's a writing class. We're trying
Yeah.
to teach them how to write. So I feel a little conflicted with, okay, upload what you have and take the corrections.
Yeah.
Because I want to get them there themselves.
There's also the problem of finding your own voice.
Right.
Mhm.
A student, if you don't have the opportunity to practice
Yeah.
using your own voice, you'll never find it. You won't even know what your voice sounds like if you don't use it.
And you have to train.
Mhm.
For instance, ChatGPT, I always have to say, Eastern European woman,
Mm.
mid-age,
Mm-hmm.
with, lived in Poland through her mid-20s, because and I never use it to define, like if my feed, based on your experience, I never use the chat. Chat doesn't know or anything, doesn't know what my experience. But if I write it down, I might run it, but I would run it more through Grammarly, so it puts the sentence structure better than I would, because it's my second, third, fourth language, whatever it is.
What if you had them write like a 30-minute essay in the class with whatever topic, and then had them insert it into
Yeah.
GPT
Yeah.
to see what chat would do with it?
I'll do that as an exercise, but not for.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I mean,
Yeah.
just to see,
Yeah.
But it's pretty mechanical. I mean, so that's why it's really easy to tell
yeah.
when
Yeah.
it's an AI generated essay. Also, though, my high school students taught me that there are humanizers. If you put it in a couple
Yeah.
times through a humanizer, it sounds less like AI.
Like,
There's
But-
two kinds of cheats.
and then ChatGPT, I didn't test that yet, but there was they published that they're gonna put a watermark. So, like you cannot see it, but it's there. And it's based on a logic of like every other word will be starting with A or whatever. So then when you run through plagiarism, it just say, oh, it's a ChatGPT watermark here, and it's copy paste this, and so forth, So they are some stuff. But my main focus in a classroom is not focusing on the cheating. It's to figuring out how that can enhance their learning.
That's what I-
Because if I focus everything on if you're a cheater, it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out, because the other thing with the cheaters I noticed in the last 2 years, when the culture of cheating exponentially grew because of how easy it is, yes, to cheat right now, do a screen and no one sees it and you can copy paste. They are not smart enough to cheat from the A student. They cheat from the C, because they have nothing to lose anyway. And they make the same mistake that in a milliard chances the two people would not make that same mistake, especially in math, when
Yeah.
they do the calculation or the way they answer, So, and once you have that person, you're gonna see it, pattern. So I'm not and for me to prove, then when I see this and then go through the length and figure out from whom it cheated.
Yeah, I agree with that, but then I also feel like, okay, if somebody turns in a perfectly written paper that they didn't write, I'm not comfortable giving them an A,
Well,
getting them through my
yeah.
tests when these other students have worked so hard.
Yeah.
So
And I don't. Yeah, if the paper is too perfect, that's why I give them 2 corrections, and it's on the drafting, blueprint stuff. I give them 2 corrections, and I told them the first time most likely will not be perfect. And if it is, I know they cheated it. Therefore, this year I taught the same project for last 11 semesters. And this semester I scratched it all and started brand new. And I know right now who has the eye like a deer in a headlight, because I saw in the packet that they had someone else's work and they would be literally copying paste, like by hand, but they were copying it. So I switched that and I'm like, Actually, I don't need to develop that. It's a lot of work for me to find it, to make sure I teach it properly, whatever it is. But I was like, I'm gonna make 4 huge sets because that's 2-year cycle. And the chances are it will not be. Once you establish the thing that she gives you new project, and you're not, doing that. So how can we engage them? Train AI in a concept. So that's what ChatGPT allowed you to do it, and then only you can use my ChatGPT, not whatever, and you have to use it so you find the pages and stuff like that. Use AI storytelling, some simulations, so you force that, so figuring out. Ask ChatGPT to write for you, and then have them grade it.
Yeah,
They
so
love
that-
doing that, yes. Encourage to explore and how they can use it in learning for the good, not for the bad, not copy paste. When I ask my students, how do you use it? And when they tell me, they are afraid to tell me copy paste. And I say, who copy paste? Just fess up, because I would know eventually. And I say, do you know you can do this, this, and that? And they're like, what? No, like humanizing stuff like that. They would not know that. But I say, you can train chat to put a little bit of your story. From my perspective, I also ask them for their stories, give me your take on it. Like, what happened to you, whatever. And it's, I do it a lot with like design, give me your design. And when they give it, I say, how did you come up with this? And if they cannot come up with logical stories, then I know it's somewhere else.
Well, you could ask the AI to give you a simulation of something, like somebody goes to the doctor and they have these symptoms, what should
Yes.
the doctor do?
Yes.
What if he gets these results? And would the chat GPT actually set the whole thing up for you?
Yes, it will, but you have to still verify, unless you give him, based on this book, give me that scenario. Then you still need to train it to double check, because at the beginning, 2 years ago, there was a case that the doctor used ChatGPT in an operating room and misdiagnosed, and patient died. Okay, so you need to review it. Or if you give the known source and say stick to it, it's gonna stick to it, So that's why I always double check. Or with my paid version, I say, okay, you gave me that, which page is it on? So it gave me the pages. Or if it says, oops, I made a mistake, let me rewrite it so I know it's cheated. Like spit out something out of my, didn't think. So grading, you can put grading through it, and it helps you out. And for me, I'm not a writer, and I don't want to just say good job. So I ask it to give me more flowery, more like a concrete feedback.
It's
And-
unbelievable what it does.
Yeah.
So have you ever used it for grading? Oh my gosh. So if you put your rubric through, then I would never just take the feedback and say, this is
Yeah.
great. But I put my rubrics through and tested it with, putting the student essays through. It gives such detailed feedback, positive and negative. And it says things, more positive things than I would think of, if you just don't have the time. It's very, very constructive. It'll pull out quotes and say, this is a really good point because it ties into what you said in this paragraph. It's very, very specific.
And you're using chat for this?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then it'll say, areas for growth would be, or something. It really depends on how you put the prompt in. So I always say personal feedback, so it's talking to the student. And I always go through and see if I agree with it or not. Most of it's right. Sometimes I'll add things or take things away, but it's unbelievable. It ends up taking me longer to grade, but it's because I still read the essays, of course, but it's very thorough. And I think it's better for the students because they get more thorough feedback than I get a page long. They give you like feedback for each criteria point. Or you can just say, if you have a couple of comments for positive feedback and areas for growth, whatever. you're
So
doing.
do they do the spelling and then, whether your ideas are in logical order and, I mean, how does it?
It reads the rubric, and so, at least for me, for writing, whatever I have in my rubric, it'll say. In fact, for a dual credit class I'm teaching, I didn't even give it the prompt, but they were supposed to write, what distinguishes an expert in a certain field. And I didn't tell chat that was the prompt, but it did say, something about the title of the rubric, what does it take to be an expert in this field? And then, the criteria points, very thorough one. And so this one student wrote a really good paper on, what it takes to be qualified in this field. And chat said, this is, you gave an excellent, thorough examination of what it takes to be qualified to be in whatever field it was, but you didn't focus on what differentiates between qualified and expert. So it'll give very seasoned feedback like that. It's pretty amazing.
So automating administrative tasks. I haven't tried this, but sometimes you have people asking the same thing, so I just upload the email and say, give me answer to this, and silly things that you have to type it and it just does it for you. So then I still review it, but usually those are like copy paste. Lesson planning. Oh my God, I use chat for all of my, and right now I'm gonna play with Brisk a little bit, Brisk technology, but it gives me an outline of all the project, of all the things, and I upload Marzanos, because we're using Marzanos, the rubric of good teaching. I put his rubric in it, and I say, based on this, on this topic, give me a lesson plan, give me resources, give me this, and stuff like that. And again, my classes are engineering, yes, we're making stuff. But it gives me a really good, and it gives me also amazing rubrics. Like, I was procrastinating for like 2 years to do rubric for every project. One day I did it, and I have all my rubrics, and it took chat probably 5 minutes to do it.
I got it in like 5 seconds, and it was the first time I used it was here when we had that. Yeah. I think you were saying the same thing. And I thought, yeah, it's awful. This is ridiculous. It's never going to be better than human. And I'm really picky with my rubrics. So I put in college level research essay rubric, and what it stood out in less than 5 seconds was what I was written. I could not believe it. And I've been so excited.
Yeah. So it can help you, imagine the tedious fact. They pay us for teaching, they don't pay us for grading, they don't pay us for developing curricula, yes? It's not, they don't pay us during the summer, all the hours we sit and do it. So if you can give yourself there, and then what Stacy mentioned, that personalized learning, the personalized feedback, that it can help you with it, okay? However, that's what we have to consider, yes, the ethical consideration. It has biases, yes. The chat was written by British, actually, white men. So at the beginning, there were a lot of British-sounding papers in the United States given by first generation or recent immigrant from Latino country when they were standing in a queue waiting for a tube to be taken downtown Chicago. I'm like, really? So I had to train my chat whenever you talk and give me some starting points, use it from the female perspective. Addressing that misinformation, yes. It's getting better, I have to say, but a year ago when I have a paper due and I need to find peer-reviewed sources, I would just ask chat, find me peer-reviewed sources. And Oh my God, the junk I was getting sometimes, it was like, okay, I need you to think for a second because you're not helping me right now. So then it's getting better right now. I'm really getting, it used to give me a link. I click on the link and it would take me to the non-existing website. Or then I gonna go for the author and it doesn't exist. And that's how I knew my classmate was cheating because there was no existing author. There was amazing titles of the resource.
Okay, so, yeah, I think a lot of the Triton students don't really know how to take a test, a multiple choice test, and how they weed out the answers.
Yes.
So I have been giving them extra credit if they correct their test and say, why they picked the answer and what they did wrong. Can you do something like that on ChatGPT? Like have them put the question in and then they give them the answer, but tell them why the other answers are wrong?
Yeah. You could spell it out, yeah. And why that answer would be wrong. Again, you need to train it, yes? So sometimes it can give you the wrong answer because it doesn't have cannot find the source. So if you say, these are your sources, so don't make up stories, but based on these sources within this thing, what are the correct answers and why and what page is it on?
You can also create like a quiz and say, create a quiz for whatever.
Yeah.
And then provide answers and reasons for a multiple choice quiz and give reasons for why an answer is right or wrong.
Okay.
It's about the prompt.
But that's not the problem. When my kids took the departmental exam, they said, oh, that was easy because the answers were either right, obviously, or wrong, obviously. You always put these questions in that, I can't quite tell. And I want them to learn how to parse the answer so that they can see what they're doing wrong when they take a test. And
you can put your own in there and just explain why each response or each answer choice is right or wrong.
Okay, because I think Connect does that we have Connect with our course, and so they have electronic homework. And when I've played around with it, it seems like it'll tell you the right answer and then tell you.
You can ask why, and you can ask why what's obvious or not less obvious in the answer that is wrong.
Okay.
It can give it to you. And again, Stacy said it. It's what you ask for. Sometimes I ask and I get the answer, and I'm like, either didn't understand me or I said it wrong. And I say, okay, almost. Let's figure it out this way. How about this? And they're like, oh, do you mean this? And I say, well, not really. Can you do this? Okay, based on this is what. And I'm like, okay, getting closer, but I need you to focus on this and we have a conversation there. We going it, so I'm not settling for a half-ass answer. And I'm like, sometimes I question if I did the right prompt or it has just off day and just decides, okay, whatever I give it to her, it doesn't matter. It's gonna figure itself out. And students who do not understand, and especially if they copy paste, probably they even don't read it what it said, yes? So if they ask what color is the sky and it's spit out, it's orange, they would copy paste orange without even reading that it's an orange, So sometimes it happens, and it's important to keep that human in a loop. So the more, from my experience, the more questions or the more your work is asked for personal, the better it's, even if they use it to help them study or whatever, it's not generated fully by them.
So you could ask for a quiz on pages 1 through 10 in a particular book.
Yes.
and say, I want 5 choices.
But you need to upload that book, because if you just,
the book though, like.
oh yeah, that's
for
it
like,
is.
I don't know, we're doing the depth of expertise book in
Yeah.
grammar class. And I've asked it, create triple reading questions or analysis questions for chapters 1 through 4 in this book, and it spits it out. Or an article that's been published. I used to upload the articles. You don't have to. You can see if it knows it. It might not, but you can see.
Yeah. So because well, I probably should play more with it, but because it disappointed me a couple of times, I'm like, screw it. I just gonna download the book. And usually, you know, my school library just has it, and even here. And if they don't have the book, you can always email library. And is it Lisa? Lisa does an amazing job of finding you electronic version, so you can do it. Yeah. Okay. So why do we even need to focus on this? It's a future. Okay. Everyone wants everything fast. If we want our students to get paid decently, they need to do it much faster, yes. So they need to utilize those resources. AI in professional development. Even with us, we have to teach that. That's why we have this workshop today. And we're preparing our students for enhancing that. I give you an example. My husband's company that was just acquired by Workday. It was started by 5 graduates from Harvard Law School. After a year working in a field, they're like, this is stupid. I'm reviewing the same contract over and over, trying to find the staff. We need to automate this. So they started the company, and they grew and grew and grew. And they hire lawyers to write the logic. So the logic inside the software, it comes from reputable sources, from the lawyers that they hire. It's not junk from the, sky there. And the other day, the company won a contract with Workday, and they hired some company they had 80,000 documents to be analyzed. So they hired company, the company quoted them $250,000 for 15,000 of them. And they won 6 months. So they came back to my husband and they analyzed in 7 hours, 80,000 of them for fraction of the cost. And to the point of bringing where it's all and stuff like that. That being said, 2 of the founders work at Harvard. They teach at Harvard. Well, they teach at Harvard as adjuncts, but they have the company right now. They work for Workday. Harvard say, no way in hell we're gonna allow AI in our classrooms, the law school. But those kids will not have employment because they don't know how to use it. So they're teaching them about it, yet they cannot use it in a classrooms. And when they go on a workplace and they have to review 50 contracts and they're getting $1,000 per contract, and it's gonna take them 6 months.
Can't live on that.
Exactly. But if you know how to use it, how to utilize the resources, okay? So that's why we need to embrace this, but we need to make sure the students know what to do, we know what to do, and we need to put the boundaries around it, yes? So, any questions? I'm gonna send you this presentation so you can have, it will not be tonight, maybe, we'll see, because I have to correct this brisk technology. Have you ever used that?
So yeah, that meant brisk instead of being. I didn't like it as well as ChatGPT, but I haven't used it that much.
Yes, so I
do
just
have the extension